In the city heat, there's a place to be, under the shade of the summer tree. Herbs and roots, a magical feast, healing hands, finding our peace. It's time to rise, take control back, with nature's gifts set our own track. Summer tree.
All right, good evening, everybody. Haven't seen y'all in a minute. We're getting ready to start here. We're just giving people time to get on. Sorry for my delay, but we're here now. We're going to give people about a minute, a little over a minute, okay? Meanwhile, go and check out sambatree.com.
Whispers to me, handle with care, herbal remedies, wise and bold, a story untold, waiting to unfold. In our own hands lies the key to nurture health, live naturally. Samba tree, feel alive, healing breezes, let them thrive. It's time for us, reclaim our youth with nature's mix. Find the truth, trust the roots, deep and strong, they'll guide us where we belong. With knowledge in every leaf, in every seed lies relief. Samba tree, feel alive, healing breezes, let them thrive. It's time for us, reclaim our youth with nature's mix. Find the truth.
All right, welcome everybody to another broadcast. So glad that you guys are here. Yes, I have been out of commission. Feels like a very long time. I really don't know. Besides the video that I posted today, I really don't know when the last time I posted something. It seems like a long time, but it was probably like 4 days or something like that, which is pretty long for me. But yeah, this week I was definitely under the weather than this week, man. That was, woo. That was, it was just detox time. Detox time. I think Nicole or I maybe have talked about that some time ago, where your body gets to a certain point where it's like, you're doing too much. You need to sit your behind down, and it's time for allow what this system is supposed to do its thing. And so I was almost immobile, and I'm not exaggerating. I literally, it was almost like I couldn't even talk, and I was so tired. I was very tired for days. And in the meantime, I was, the congestion, sore throat, very chilly. Like the last live I did, once I was finished, during the broadcast, I was fine. But then afterwards, I was so cold. Like I was freezing. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like I literally had to run into the shower and put the heat all the way up and on the shower and just sit there because I was freezing. I mean, it was crazy. And so I was like, what is going on? And then I think it was the following day, I took something, and then the following day I woke up with a small, sore throat, and I was like, oh, what is this? And I said, let me take some stuff. But it was too late by then. I mean, it was, at that point I was already on a downswing, and it was just, woo. Oh man. Yeah, it was just something, but what it really was this, my body detoxifying, because when I tell you it wasn't just a detox of just stuff that my body had accumulated over time. Also noticed it was just the thought of certain foods. It just turned my stomach. Like, out here, we got In-N-Out Burger Honey. Okay. So I don't go there every day. At the most, I may go once every other week. Okay. I don't eat burgers every day. It's not even like that. But, I'm not going to fool you. I'm not like sitting out here eating off of the vine every day. I wish I could, but it's just, you go into these grocery stores and stuff, you don't know what these people are spraying and all that. So it's always a challenge. So it almost feels like a chess game. And when you go into the grocery stores and you're trying to find, okay, good food, healthy food. And so you're always like trying to figure out what's going on and all that. So it allows you to come up with excuses. Well, I'll just get a burger tonight. Oh, I'll just get this, And no, you shouldn't eat those things. On occasion, I guess it's okay. But, anyway, just the thought of those things, I couldn't even stomach it. Still now, it's like, I couldn't even see myself eating that right now. My appetite is coming back, but I don't want to eat. I'm very sensitive now to the stuff I eat. And I also noticed too, I could not get on a computer. I could barely get on my phone. And, cause I'm always taking stuff in, learning new things and all that. And it was like, everything was just so extremely loud to me. Like everything from tweets to posts to videos, whatever. I was like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear anything right now. It was just really sensitive. And so I knew then, I said, yeah, this is some kind of detox thing going on. And so the last time I remember this happening, I stuck to it. I tried to say, all right, I'm going to be incorporating this and that. And then over time, you just kind of pull away from it. But man, I really hope this time I make some more adjustments that I will stand on and hopefully they'll stick because, those when your body has to force itself to get into a detox mode, oh man, it's really something, man. It's really something. Like I said, I was knocked out. Like I could not do anything, like literally. And it was really something, but I'm glad that I'm here now. I get a little cough every now and then. I had everything. I had what was it? The shaky leg thing, where I was just up all times in the night. I could not rest. My legs could not rest. I was up walking in the middle of the night. Cat looking at me like I was crazy. Like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to be doing that. What you doing? Literally walking around the house for an hour or so to try to get my legs to calm down. It was a whole bunch of stuff going on. So my magnesium was low, all of that. So I had to go through I had to go to the Samba Tree restoration center. I bet you didn't know we had that, did we? We have a Samba Tree Health and Restoration Center, Health and Wellness Center. And it's based here in Arizona. But you know what? You remember how we also always say that you are your primary physician? Yes, I mean that. You are your primary physician. And while I was feeling all of that, I was like, man, it would be so easy for me right now to say, you know what, hon, let me just go to the doctors right now. And I envision them prescribing all kinds of crazy stuff. And I said, no way. Let me just let this thing go through and let me figure it out, that kind of thing. My wife and my wife, she did a video, talking about, those who, when the thing was going around a few years ago, the thing that we can't talk about on this platform. She came up with, it was something that we found somebody else. It was some doctor that actually talked about it, and they gave the step-by-step on how to make it for yourself. Because it's one thing taking things, pills or, supplements and things like that. But if you have like congestion or something that's going on, that's when you need to move to something like this thing right here. All right. This is what you need right here. So she actually talked about this some time ago. This is it's a whole recipe of stuff that you put in. You just shake it up. Let me shake it up here. What I do know is that there's we have some red salt in there, and then there's some other things she put in there as well. And you just turn it on, put it on your face, and just breathe it in. And I'm gonna tell you, man, that thing it did its thing. That I was taking black seed oil. There's a few other things I was taking too, and that is really what helped me to kind of get back on this road of recovery. But sometimes it's not in your body's best interest to immediately eliminate the feeling of what you're going through. You know, sometimes you just have to let that thing play out. You know what I mean? And that's what's so important for taking, when you're dealing with stuff, to take natural things, because natural things, it's in sync with your body. You understand what I'm saying? It's the pharmaceuticals that are designed to get rid of the feeling. It's like a headache, right? Headaches is your body's way of telling you that something is wrong. It's like a red flag. Your body is saying, hey, something is going off here. And when you take that Anacin or aspirin or whatever, what you're doing is you're cutting off the signal, but you're not addressing what's really going on. You understand what I'm saying? And so it can be a lot of things. It was the other week, I had something going on with my back. I don't know what the heck I was doing some woodwork. And I don't even know what the heck I did. Like, I wasn't really lifting anything heavy. It wasn't anything like that at all. But I don't know. It was just my back just started hurting, lower back. And, you know, I got the massager out. I was doing all kinds of stuff. I was like, oh man, I don't feel like dealing with this. And because usually my back is fine. I don't have a bad back or anything like that. But one day I was just laying on the couch. I was just like, man, this is all I can do right now. And my wife, she's like rubbing my back and she's like, wait a minute, I noticed something here. She said, it's like a little lump here, you know, and she's the back expert, I guess now, because she went to a masseuse and they pointed out that kind of stuff out to her. So she's the expert now. But anyway, she was like, there's like a lump here. She said, yeah, this is like a pocket. This is probably like toxins or something. And man, she kept rubbing it in that area. And then it went down. And then it was probably within the same hour, my back almost felt fine. So a lot of times your body is, or all the time, your body is doing all kinds of things to protect itself. You know what I mean? And that's what makes our body just such an awesome, awesome technology. Hold on. That goes beyond anything that man can ever imagine or think or even create. And mankind, if anything, is just playing catch up, you know, but it's just an amazing thing that we have here, this earth suit that we have. And it just does so many things all the time. And it will even sit your behind down when you need to. And that's what I'm so grateful for. So, yeah. So I'm still resting, taking my time and all that. And I'm going to continue to do that. So, yeah. So like that was the whole delay situation there. I originally had scheduled, I wanted to do a video that was going to really do a dive into this whole thing regarding the TikTok, Red Note, and the deeper things that are going on from a technological standpoint, you know, but I'm going to push that off till tomorrow because there's a few more things I want to look into so I can include everything within that one video. So stay tuned. So hopefully tomorrow I'll have that video and maybe we'll do a live or whatever. And I'll just walk you through it, just the history behind all of that, that this trend that we're seeing now, you know, on various social media platforms. It's not accidental. It's something that they have been prepping us for a very, very long time. And again, we're not moving into separate nations anymore. All of these nations are going to become more and more borderless, you know, and that's where we're going right now. Real estate right now is digital. And I really want to get into that. And it's so very vital and important for you to understand that, because in the direction that we're going, if you're not aware of these things, you are going to be so left behind. The technology right now that they have, the AI right now, their ChatGPT is about to do another release where it's going to be, I guess it's a separate service. I'm not sure, but where, you know how you just ask it to do whatever and it'll give you whatever you're asking for the most part. But now they have one where it's already programmed to think like a PhD. So, for those that are really into doing deep dives, and you need the services of a PhD, well, now you'll be able to have that access. And but it's not just as simple as going to a Google search and say, hey, tell me about this. Tell me if the Indians were really black. That kind of, no. It's going to have a whole scholarly section where it's going to be taking deep dives into whatever it is that you're asking. But not only that, it will build things. Like, for example, what was the example they gave? One example they said is like, if I wanted it to build a whole website, I wanted to build a website that does whatever it is, and it sells these types of products and all of that. It will literally do everything for you. It will find suppliers. It will do everything for you. All you got to do is know how to ask, these things. And now people will have the access to do this kind of stuff. And so, there's going to be a lot of people, unfortunately, is going to be out of work, but there's going to be a lot of people who are going to find new opportunities. And that's something else we want to get into as well, because there are plenty of opportunities for people. I don't care how old you are. I had someone call in recently, 60 something years old. And she said, yeah, I'm an AI prompt engineer. Yeah, so she knows what's up. And so we'll be talking more about that and getting into those kind of things as well. And should be fun. So anyway, again, glad that you guys are here. And I'm just doing a little bit of catch up here because, I kind of been out a little bit, but here we are. But anyway, let's get into it today. So today, what we're going to talk about, I'm just taking a little bit slower today. That's why I said, let me just break it up. Shout out to everybody in the chat too. So glad that you guys are here. Very glad and excited that you guys are here. All right. So today we're going to talk about just something very, very simple broadcast. And it's a continuation of what we've been saying, in the last few videos or posts, if you haven't seen them. And we've been talking about how this fire that has taken place out in California has really exposed a lot. And if you have been distracted, it's unfortunate for you. But hopefully by the end of this broadcast, which will not be long, and I promise you, your eyes will be a little bit more sharper, and making sure that things like this do not pass you by. Okay, so first things first, though, as I'm remembering here, I know that we got some family down in the southeast area. Y'all have some snowstorms coming up too. I think y'all have some major snowstorms or something coming up. So yeah, just our thoughts are with you. Make sure you do what you need to do and get your basics and all that. I'm sure many of you already done that, but that's just something to keep in mind on that too. Especially backup power, making sure that you have that. That's something we've been strong advocates of. Doesn't necessarily need to be a gas generator, but if you have any kind of like solar generator, like panels, anything like that, that would be perfect. Making sure you got plenty of blankets, all the basics. Think, what if the power went out? Remember what happened down in Texas? The power went out and it was a ice storm down there. Remember that? And how cold it was. You remember that? And you had people's pipes bursting. I'm glad I'm talking about this now. I just remembered. Remember how they said people's pipes were bursting? You know why? Because what was happening was they're not used to that. When the temperature drops at a certain degree, you always got to make sure you keep those, like a faucet or two, just dripping so that it's flowing. You know what I mean? You want to make sure you got that going on, and as it gets colder over these next few days. That's very important. Make sure you call grandma and them, call your aunties, your uncles, or whatever, anybody that lives in that region. Make sure that they're doing that, because as this temperature drops, that is going to be an issue for some people. Okay, so make sure you do that. All right, make sure you have that going on, because it's some nasty work when those pipes get frozen and then they start bursting all over the place, and now you don't have any power, your family's cold, and you can't get anywhere. You don't want to put yourself in that situation. So make sure, again, you got that going on, right? If you have a fireplace, at least make sure you got plenty of firewood. I'm just going through my mind right now, just some of the basics. Anybody else, if you have any ideas, go ahead and please throw them in the chat so, other people can get the wheels turning. I know it's, late for some people, but maybe first thing in the morning, you can go out and make sure you get all these things. So just keep that in mind, okay? Because that's going to be very important. Very important. All right, let's dive into it. What we're talking about this evening. We have been talking about how this fire really has exposed a great deal of what I would call internet meme culture. It's not black culture. I want to say it's meme culture. And so, there's always subcultures within main cultures. So what I'm talking about is it's a meme culture that we have within black culture. And just like white people, they have a meme culture, so forth and so on. And in this culture, I have identified like several groups. Like, for example, if you look at the thumbnail, you got the I'm blackity, 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 blackity people, right? And we standing on business. And unless you can show the paperwork, unless your hairline meets the certain measurement, unless you were born in a certain place, then you are not one of us. So you got that going on, right? Then you got the Christians or the Bible folks who have used this fires as an opportunity, not so much to reach a hand out to help people, but to use this as an opportunity to say, I told you so, God, it was going to destroy you. I told you that God was going to enact his judgment on you and start wiping out people. I told you that, right? So you got that group as well, the I told you so's. And that's the whole range of the Bible religious folks, right? And that's not all people who claim to be Christians, because you got some that got some sense and they're like, no, I'm not going to go down that road. But you do have quite a few that have been amening this kind of nonsense out the door. And those are the people we're calling out. Then you got the the black Indians, the natives. We were always here. We ain't from no Africa. We're not from anywhere else. We're always from here. Well, at least those three groups got exposed in this fire. And it's quite something. Now, I have been, if you've been following this platform, you know that we've been talking a lot about Altadena. Now, Altadena, just so that there's clarity here, Altadena isn't a 100% black town. For those who are not familiar with Altadena, it is not. All right. It is not 100% black. In fact, black folks are somewhat in the minority in the city of Altadena. But what has happened is, however, the black people who are there are people who have been there for generations. So it's something to keep in mind when we're talking about specifically black folks in Altadena. Because a lot of time people may say, well, you got all kind of people there. You're right. But when we're talking about black people there, we're talking about specifically due to our history of being in places for generations. It is something that should be, that we should always be thinking about. You know what I mean? There are places that I know in New Jersey where black people, black families have been there for generations, and these are things that we should all be, thinking about. That's history. That's culture, and we want to make sure we're doing everything we can to preserve that, because if it gets wiped out, that's it. We don't have anything. What I did a video back of a, hold on for a second. Okay, hold on. I did a video of a small town near where I used to live in New Jersey, or where I grew up in New Jersey. I didn't know it was an all black town, small little village. And it's been there since like the 1800s. And I didn't even know. And I actually drove through there and showed y'all everything and all of that. You got all kinds of villages and stuff like that. A lot of times people think that, Black Wall Street or, some of these other places that we like to shout out a lot of times. They were the only black towns and that's it. No, I went through a whole map of towns just in New Jersey alone that are still considered historically black cities or towns or villages. There's many of them still out there. So it should be paramount for us to make sure that we are doing everything we can to protect the legacies and the histories that are bundled in these spaces. And Altadena is one of them, right? And so what happened here with this fire, I don't know let me see if I can pull up there was a video that I found. Hold on. Give me just a moment. Because someone did a aerial view, because I want you to see just how crazy it was. And for those that are just joining us, welcome. Let me see if I can find it. If not, no, I want to find this because I want you to see just how much this town has been pretty much wiped out. Oh yeah, here's one right here. Okay, let me bring this over. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? Now you contrast that with the old black and white photos that we have of like Black Wall Street when they burned it down. I mean, the pictures look pretty much the same to me when you look at it. I mean, just total devastation. Now, Black Wall Street, you did have a little bit more stuff going on there, like them bombing, people from the air and all this other foolishness. But the fact of the matter is, it was a great amount of loss there. It was another video that I came across too, where this guy, he's an investor, and he was saying that, yeah, you already have people from BlackRock who are already there on the ground offering these people money and saying, hey, listen, we will buy your land right now. I know you're going through the foolishness right now. And I just found the video. I know you're going through the foolishness right now with, these insurance companies, but we'll give you cash right now. So take a listen here. I just found that video. I want you to listen to what this investor is saying.
I'm going to comment about this, and I'm going to shock you. People from BlackRock are going door to door, offering to buy homes now. They say, whatever you do with the insurance company is your business. Fix what you want or don't. Here's a price we're willing to pay for your home now. BlackRock is going door to door. You think this happened by accident? The dams have been emptied by Governor Newsom for no good reason. The hydrants are empty for no good reason. LA had its rainiest season this year since the 20s. Almost 90 years, 100 years ago. It was the rainiest season, and there's no water in the reservoirs. 3 months ago, State Farm, the big insurer in L.A., just happened to cancel everybody's fire policies because the governor decided not to allow State Farm to increase their prices. So people now have no insurance. Do you think this happened by accident? One thing I learned over years on Wall Street, follow the money. Who's going to profit by this? Not who's getting hurt. Who's going to profit by this? BlackRock is going door to door, making offers now for cash. Generous. They want to take everybody's homes. This is the business they're in. It's not a secret. This has been highly organized. And as I've been saying, more is coming. Pay attention. I'm going to come.
Well, there you go. There you go. I mean, so all of this that you're seeing, and you're going to hear more stories like this, it's unraveling right now. And my heart really goes out to especially a lot of these elderly homes that are owned by elderly folks who they just like, I don't know what to do. And they're so in a bewildered state right now because they literally have lost everything. And then here you have somebody coming and saying, hey, listen, let me just give you some money. And in some of these families, they may not have somebody that's attuned to the times. And, and they say, grandma, no, please don't do that. You know what I mean? You don't want to do that, and a lot of unfortunately, we're seeing this whole thing, nightmare, just continues. It's going to continue to unfold, unfortunately. But like he pointed out, according to what he's saying, this is the most rainiest season for the state of California in decades. And the fact that those reservoirs weren't even filled, that tells you right there that something was up. So these are things that, you can stay. I believe the United States, I believe the system that we're in right now is one big conspiracy, period. You know what I mean? So you can say tinfoil hat or not, that's irrelevant. It's one big conspiracy. This whole system is built on a conspiracy, on a series of conspiracies. But even with that, it's also very important for us to be able to talk about these things, but also try to put our heads together and what are some things that we can actually do. You know what I mean? And one of the things that really pissed me off, with this is that there were different groups. Well, let me just say this one side first. I emphasize that, yes, even with that loss, you had black folks and others too, but I'll just focus on the black folks first, black folks who lost everything that was still out there trying to help their neighbors. You had black organizations on the ground level that specialize in helping other black people. They were on the ground and they were doing stuff, but it wasn't just black folks. In neighboring Arcadia, they were also touched by this fire. Arcadia has a high Asian population. But even with that, they were still reaching out to their next door neighbors and doing everything they can to try to help these people. And you also had Hispanic community coming together and doing what they can to help these people as well. And I have a video here to show y'all on that. This is another town. It's all there. Like you have Arcadia, you have Altadena and Pasadena. They're like all together. And so the city of Pasadena, they have their own bus line. And I want you to see what these bus drivers, what they actually did with these fires. It was amazing. Now, these are city bus drivers, but I want you to take a listen to this report here and watch this report.
Pasadena transit bus drivers being called heroes after rushing into flames of the Yaton fire to help evacuate senior citizens.
And Jasmine Veal is live in Altadena at one of the senior living facilities that burned to the ground with cell phone video of what these drivers faced. Jazz?
It's pretty incredible, Juan and Pat. So this was a call for help Not to first responders, though. Imagine you had staff members here with authorities frantically trying to get out dozens of seniors from this living facility, right as it began to burn at Washington and Altadena. And that's when Pasadena Transit bus drivers, yes, bus drivers got that call. And all across Altadena, they helped evacuate 500 people.
Right down Lake Avenue.
Yeah. Oh my God.
As flames closed in, a group of Pasadena bus drivers drove into the inferno last week.
Our eyes are red from all the ashes.
They were called to help rescue hundreds of people from senior living facilities across Altadena threatened by the Eaton fire.
Firefighters are helping, the nurses were helping. We're putting wheelchairs all the way down there, locking them in place.
35-year-old Erasmo Rodriguez, an operations manager with Pasadena Transit, was the first to jump into a bus that night and race to Washington and Altadena, where he saw this chaotic scene as facilities burned.
We're just boarding the buses, getting as many people as we could. You know, it didn't matter where they sat, on the ground, anywhere. You know, leave your walker behind, leave your wheelchair behind, fit as many people as we can.
Pasadena Transit maintenance manager Adan Morera says he also saw the fire on the hills near his home and came back to work to help.
I told my GM how many buses they need out there to help them evacuate. We took 4 more buses. It was horrible. Going up there, just a lot of black smoke, fire embers hitting the bus, hitting us. There was a bush in front of 7-Eleven caught on fire right in front of our eyes.
He says he did his best to comfort those seniors who were confused and scared.
So right here, I had an elderly lady. She had her dog. She got out of the house so fast she forgot the leash.
Letty Ochoa, Pasadena Transit's general manager, says she staffed 11 buses, sending them out in a caravan through the smoke.
You know, I said, you don't have to do this. And they're like, no, we want to do this. Let us do it. Like, we're on our way. So they didn't even think about it.
Risking their own lives for strangers and for those these bus drivers say they know well as regular passengers.
These guys are heroes, true heroes, because they're not trained for that. We're trying to move, you know, the city around, but not do this.
Rodriguez, though, refuses to be called that, saying he did what he had to do.
It needs to get done. Somebody needs to do it.
So many, as you can see behind me, seniors home.
So there you go. You had these people got together. They were driving buses through this stuff. There's other video footage. If I had it, I would show you. But to really show you when they talk about these Santa Ana winds, when you combine it with fire, it's a scary sight. And man, that was something. But you saw a little bit of it in these buses trying to drive through this stuff to get to these seniors in Altadena to save them. And hats off to them for that. Now, on the flip, I would say a half an hour away without traffic, which is that's going to be kind of rare. You have another organization that they just recently raised almost $2 million for a comedy club. And that organization is none other than FBA. It's an organization. They do not represent the entirety of Black Americans. They do not. Now, they may claim that, but they do not. It's just like the KKK. They don't represent the entirety of white Americans. FBA does not represent the entirety of Black Americans. As I just indicated and pointed out earlier, there are many cases and many stories, both told and untold, of Black Americans who, even though they may not have been featured in this particular story that I showed you, there were Black Americans that did rise to the occasion and were on the ground and helping these other people in the town of Altadena. But I'm looking at the organization of foundational Black Americans, and it is because they have their own trademarks and everything else. They just recently raised over $2 million for a full comedy club. Now, again, this isn't a plea to get people to start throwing a bunch of money somewhere, because I'm certainly not saying that. But what I'm saying is that how is it that this organization can spend a great deal of time pointing out all of these different instances in our history, Black American history, where there was great loss at the level of what we saw here with this fire with Black Americans. But and use that as a point of, it's a driver point basically. And this is why you got to check out this documentary, or this is why you got to invest in this. This is why you got to, you know, send money so we can build this comedy club / museum. But then when something like this happens, we don't hear anything. And I kept checking. I said, well, maybe they'll bring up something. Maybe they'll talk about it in a little bit more detail. You know, since they're pretty much based in the LA area, maybe they'll be there. Maybe you'll see them out there. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You know what they're talking about? They're talking about Drake and his lawsuit. I don't even know. Don't even care. Still hints and things there of Fat Joe. They're still bringing that up. I'm tired of mentioning man's name, but it still keeps coming up. Then it's like some other like hip hop guys that are saying this and that. It's all like lunchroom beefs, high school beef stuff. But when it comes to, okay, we're here and now, this is a point where y'all claim to be representing the whole, but when something like this happens, you ain't showing up. What's up with that? And that's where people get mad and angry with me and pointing that out. I'm not saying, again, I'll say it again for those the slow learners out here. I'm not saying that Black folks were not there, because they were. But what I am saying is that we, just like we have to call in account the NAACP, the Congressional Black Caucus, these organizations are no different. They're just social media, internet based. And the nameless, faceless people behind them, in most cases, they will never make the transition or cross over from your timeline into real life. That's why you cannot be so plugged in when you're on social media. You can't be so plugged in to what these people are saying, because it will never translate into real life. It never will. There were all kinds of people that were rising to the occasion to help these people. All kinds. And let's move on to the next group here. Here's an article that I found other day. I think I posted this too. Well, I posted a screenshot of it. You got Negroes out here that are so big up on we the natives and we're the first, you know, we're the people, we've always been here and all that. Okay, whatever. Go ahead, continue to order your head wraps and scarves or whatever it is, your feather caps from Temu. And someone exposed them on that. How you gonna call yourself a Native American and you ordering your feather hats from Temu in China? How you doing that? We always from here, but I got to go to China to get a Native American. I don't understand how people don't just, nobody's stopping for a second and saying, that's crazy. But neither here nor there. Listen, I'm not going to get into all, I've talked about this topic ad nauseum. And I'm tired of talking about it, because you got folks out here that just be making up all kinds of stuff like this one here. Let me bring this up here. I got to show y'all this.
That's doing these tribal dances, you can tell that they learn it using what's called the 1-2 step method, which is the same way you teach the hustle. It's the same way you teach square dance.
Stop. Just stop. Just stop it. Stop it now. Stop it. This is what they be putting out. But anyway, why are you trying to take credit for their stuff? Look what they're doing. Native nations respond to Los Angeles fires. Firefighting crews from at least 5 tribal nations are on the ground in Los Angeles helping battle the most destructive fires in Southern California's history and lending support for area residents impacted by the unprecedented wildfires. A beefed up firefighting force was staged around Los Angeles Tuesday, January the 14th, with anxious residents prepared for more fire danger as winds began to build a week after two massive infernos destroyed thousands of homes and killed at least 24 people. Among the tribal nations sending fire crews are two California-based tribes, the San Manuel Band of Mission Indians and the Yurok tribe, and the Klamath tribe in Oregon, the Navajo Nation, and Montana's Blackfeet Nation. Other tribes are offering personal support, and the Pachanga, hope I'm saying that right, tribe is contributing $500,000 to help fire victims in conjunction with the Los Angeles Rams Foundation. As a fire department, our job is to go out there and to protect lives, says Rod Mendez, a Kurok tribal citizen who is the Yurok tribe fire chief. We want to make sure that we can do the best job we can possible to go down there, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they're saying they're going down there and they're doing stuff. So what I want to know is, now somebody, the first criticism people going to make out, they're going to point out, oh, see, they the $5 Indians. Look how white they are. They ain't really us. But do you think that the people of Altadena care if they're getting a $5 Indian or a $10 Indian or a $90 Indian at this point? Do you think they really care about any of that at this point? Do you think they were like, whoa, back off. You ain't a real Indian. You're not real. No, you're not the real Native American, so you need to back. You think they were caring about that at this point? What they cared about was somebody reaching out to them and said, listen, whatever you can do, help us. And they showed up. These people showed up. And nobody's saying that every black person got to have access to a fire truck and all that. Nobody's saying that. But they didn't just bring fire trucks. They also brought resources. They brought food. They brought money. Again, contrast that with a whole comic club that was built a half an hour away. $2 million. They showed up. Now, again, why am I bringing these things up? I was like, you always bringing down black people. No, I am calling out the fools and the ignorance that a lot of our people look up to for some kind of inspiration or direction. Because in 2025, you cannot give these people voice or place in your own personal timeline. I'm not talking about your timeline on your phone. I'm talking about the timeline of your brain, the timeline of your life. You can't give these people any kind of space because it will not, whatever they're saying, it will never translate into the real world. It never will. They say a lot, but it will never translate. They talk all this, yeah, because they took the sound just like that. They doing the two-step and they got the two-step. Nobody caring about no two-step and they lost their home. You see what I'm saying? It don't translate. It doesn't translate to the real world. But grandma said, I don't care what your grandmother said. That kind of foolish talk, it does not translate to the real world. It doesn't. I found this image too. It's just the stuff. Wow, black parts of towns are literally burning. We doing this stuff. Someone posted this, and I said they cannot be serious. I said they cannot be serious with this. I said, in a heartfelt tribute to a forgotten innovator, the city of Los Angeles commemorated the legacy of Willie Techman Jenkins, an African-American inventor who pioneered drone technology in 1992. Despite his groundbreaking contributions, Jenkins' achievements were buried by the weight of systemic racism. Y'all, this is AI. This is AI. This is AI. This is what I'm talking about. And I was looking in the comment, you had some people who pointed it out right out. But you had people who but other people say, you know what? Hey, this is more stuff that they don't stop, and it's like the distractions. Remember I was saying earlier, I said I couldn't take the distractions. This is the kind of stuff I'm saying. Anyway, I thought of that. I said, I want to make sure I show them that. But this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about that be showing up. Anyway, let's move on. Well, I think you'll like this one. Because I know some of y'all, this is probably your favorite preacher. Because let's move on to what is being said, at least amongst a small group or a section of the religious folks. Your favorite bishop in the world, Bishop Clarence McClendon. You got to hear what this man, what he said. It's like, does it get any lower? And the answer is always, unfortunately, is yes. Now, this comes to us by way of the channel name is Being Beautifully Honest. Not familiar with the channel at all, but they were, at least they had the clips that we wanted to feature here on. And so I want to, I'm going to go ahead and play it for you so you can see it for yourself. This is Clarence McClendon. I want you to hear this bastard of a pastor, and I'm going to keep calling him that and all these other pastors, because you got to be a piece of horse, you know what, to do what this man is about to say. I want you to listen.
Revealing who honors him, who's actually trusting in him. God says to the children of Israel, so serious am I about being honored that when I come to receive my honor in a nation, if you are acting like the world and giving me no reverence, giving me no honor, you'll suffer with them. There's so much in this. I don't have time to get to it all. There is more. And the challenge of the prophetic is when you don't unload all that is in you, then you give fools and idiots an opportunity to gainsay against the word of the Lord. But I need you to hear me. Yeah, go to Matthew chapter 3. Go to Matthew chapter 3, verse 10.
Oh, here we go.
Here is where we are right now in the United States of America. And Los Angeles, please hear me. Los Angeles is a message sending city. Los Angeles. Angelos is messengers, city of angels, city of messengers. It's one of the reasons why the center of Hollywood and communications and movies and TV has been here, because the endowment in this city is to send messages. And so what has happened in Los Angeles, he that has ears to hear, let him hear, is a message being sent to the nation of the United States and to the nations of.
Okay, so God needs Hollywood, demonic Hollywood, to get a message out. God, all powerful, the Bible God, he needs Hollywood. He's like, I gotta get this message out. But I gotta go to Hollywood first. I gotta make sure I go to Hollywood, because otherwise I may own a cattle on 1,000 hills, but I gotta go to Hollywood. I have to get there to get this message out. That's what he's saying right now.
And here it is. Watch this. I got more to say, and I'll say it. So tune in Sunday or somewhere else. But look at verse 3 of Acts 10. The prophet is speaking. This is John the Baptist, and he says, "And even now the axe is laid to the root of the tree." This Is what is happening now. God is no longer dealing with the fruit of nations. He's dealing with the root of nations. What is at the root of the godlessness? What is at the root of the perversity? What is at the root of the iniquity? What is at the root of the fact that your children don't know what gender they are? What is at the root of the fact that your politicians can't figure out what a man or a woman is? What is at the root of it? I'm not dealing with the fruit anymore. God says, I'm dealing with the root. Now the axe is laid to the root of the tree. Watch this. Therefore, every tree which does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. He that has ears to hear, let him hear. I'm reading on. I indeed baptize you with water under repentance, John says, but he who is coming after me is mightier than I, whose sandals. So there's somebody coming. This is an evidence somebody's coming. And he that is coming is mightier than I, whose sandals I am not worthy to carry. He will baptize you with the Holy Spirit and fire. This is not just about Los Angeles. Los Angeles is a message-sending city. There is a message being sent to this nation and to the nations of the earth. The hedge of protection is up, but it is voice activated, and it is activated by our faith, the Spirit of God. Those of you who know, you know. He told me to start telling the people of God, sow into your hedge fund. He spoke to me from Job 110 and Psalm 91.
He said God told him to tell people to sow into his hedge fund. And he linked hedge fund and hedge of protection. Now, again, these are... You're talking folks that done lost their homes. And it's peace. I don't even want to say it. We've had a pretty good streak on this channel up to this point, and we're gonna keep it there, okay? We're gonna keep it there. But you know what I want to say is out here talking about God told him to tell the people to sow into your hedge fund.
And he said, those are the two designated points of agreement. No magic in the number. Tell the people to sow into the word, into the anointing. And he said, you make sure that the hedge of protection stays up and stays active. He gave me that assignment, and he told me to do it for 18 months. I will not stop doing it until he tells me. So if you don't like it, don't ever watch me again, because if you watch me, you're going to hear it. Because God told me to do it. There are those of you whom the Spirit of God is leading to sow into it. If he's telling you to do it, do it. If he's not, dismiss it altogether. If you want to sow that way, right there on your computer screen, your smartphone, there is a donate button. There's somebody saying, Prophet of God, I hear it, but I don't have that to sow. Then you sow what you can. You sow into it by the anointing of God, or sow into it today and believe God for the rest of it. Come into agreement. It's not the amount, it is the agreement, but there's a word from God that came from me concerning it. Now this seed is not going to the disaster relief. This seed is going in to the work of the ministry, the anointing here. If you want the seed designated for disaster, I told you what to do, and that will go there.
So he's telling people, hey, listen, now this is going directly to me. All right, let me be clear now. Now, if you want to give to something else, you want to get to the fire folks, then, you know, we got a separate link for that. He said, but as far as... So what am I saying, y'all, as we're bringing this to the close? What am I saying? What I'm saying is this. In 2025, you're going to have to clear. If you are taking any of these people seriously in 2025, then yeah, you're going to stay lost. You're going to stay lost. You are. And you're going to always stay in this perpetual state of confusion, always looking for someone on this side of the screen to tell you what to do, how to think, how to live, all that kind of stuff. And that's not what should be happening at all. Even if information is coming from us, we're just giving information. What we always encourage you to do is take that information and always research it further on yourself, on your own. Always do that. Never just take my word for it on anything. But this kind of stuff here, what I'm trying to do with the few viewers that we have, is I'm trying to show you, when you hear this is what these people have been saying. I'm talking about the blackety folks, right? That we gonna fight for us and our people alone. You know, we talked about we always been here people, we're the Native Americans. And then we pointed, I gave you an example of the Clarence McClendon out here and all of that. There are many of the other examples I can give, many others, but I just want to keep this short. But when I'm showing, for many of you, you already know. You ain't need to see this. But there are a significant number of people who, for whatever reason, they listen to this stuff. And what I'm trying to do is to show you, okay, this is what they have been saying. Now, here's an example of they didn't show up in the real world. You understand what I'm saying? This last dude, McClendon, he trying to make a pipeline from the internet to the real world of his hedge fund. And she got down here, the woman that posted this video, they said he's asking for 110. I don't know what the 110 is. I know he ain't talking about that's associated with the 110 freeway. He might be, I don't know. I don't know what the reason behind 110. He said, or $911 for divine fire protection. So if you want God's protection, you're going to have to send him either $110 or $911. It's good to see that he's so precise. Too bad that the insurance companies ain't really buying that. They're like, you can pay whatever, but we out of here. But listen to him, you pay $911, your house going to be protected. Oh, but that's right, the house already burnt down. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I'm done. But for people who have suffered through this kind of stuff, where you've lost your home, our hearts definitely go out to them. It is going to be a long road, to recovery for these individuals. And so our hope is that they get connected with the right people, and that there are, even though there's a lot of devils out here that want to take advantage of their stories, of their culture, their history, and of their situation that they're in right now, there are many people out there who aren't like that. And, the moral of the story is, I hope you guys get it, is that, unlike what someone said, I'm always going to bet 100% on black. Don't do that. I'm grateful for the color that I've been born into, but I'm not as stupid enough to think that all character equals that. It doesn't. There are people who look just like us that are more, I know this ain't good English, they are eviler than the devil. I'm serious. They will take your firstborn and your head off and put in a duffel bag before they try to do anything for you. You understand what I'm saying? You got to question everybody and everything. You do. And if anything, this should serve as a warning for many people out here, because there are other things, I'm sure, in time that we'll see where homes will be lost and all of that. How do you prepare for that? You know what I mean? Do you have places that you can go? Are there people that you can trust and all of that? These are the kind of conversations that you should be having now, instead of just waiting for it to happen. And when it happens, oh, Lord, we just need, oh, God, I pray that you just send FEMA down. Oh, no. We ain't going to be praying to no FEMA. Stop praying for FEMA. And even Trump now, I know he's Santa Claus now. He promising everything now. He going to do this, he going to do that, and all this other stuff. But I'm telling you, when we start digging into this whole technocracy thing and the deeper connections between him, Elon Musk, and all those technocrats that they're all associated with, and we really start talking about their plans for housing, for healthcare, things of that nature, for future employment, you're going to want to make sure you're paying attention, very close attention to that, because it's going to impact a lot of people. It is. And this is why I'm telling you, you do not have time to be fooling around with these people, figuring out who's a tether and who isn't, or what this hip hop is ours and it ain't nobody else's. And you ain't got time for that. You ain't got time for that. You got to be focused on you and yours. That's it. You know what I mean? And there's going to be other deployments going to happen where they're going to be telling people to do the what and all of that. And you're going to have to be prepared for those kind of things. How do you react? How do you respond? Someone else just did. Isaiah said, will we be discussing tonight? The red note thing. I know. I explained that earlier. I'm just getting back. And I decided later on, I said, you know what? I'm going to do that tomorrow. I'm going to try to do that tomorrow. Because I'm barely getting through this tonight. I'm doing good, but I'm barely getting through this. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about that. That's going to be a good one. But yeah, it's just out with the old and in with the new. That's how you should be thinking in this time right now, because these fools going to have to go. They're going to have to go. So you are not a meme, and stop listening to these meme people out here and really start partnering and getting together with people who know what they're talking about, who will put their money and their efforts where their mouth is. Those are the people that you need to associate with. All right. So that's it, y'all. That's all I think I have for you this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in for this broadcast. And I will see you again soon. You guys take care.